First things first, Tove, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
I'm alright, thank you.
Nice.
So yesterday you played a show.
Yeah.
What was it like?
It was amazing. I opened for Katy Perry here in Amsterdam, and it was so much fun. Like the whole thing, like coming into a big production like this, you never know what to expect. So the first few shows have been quite like hectic, just like getting everything to work, like getting the sound to work, like just like sort of finding your place. This whole thing, and now when we got here, I felt like yes, like for the third show, it really like came together. We put on the show, and the crowd was amazing. Like they're so sweet. Like they're so cute. We stand in the audience and do like little hearts to me. I'm like, hi.
Is it difficult as a supporting artist to play those big arenas?
I mean, I don't know if I've been really lucky or I don't know, because I just came off a tour with opening for Lorde as well in the US, and that as well was like such a great experience. We had so much fun and the crowds were really great. And I don't know, I just love playing those big rooms. Like you can really, I mean, I love both, but it's something really cool when you get to play before those like massive crowds.
And you mentioned that tour as well with Lorde, and doing these tours with these huge artists in these huge venues. What do you take away from it? Is it like a learning thing for you as well?
Yeah, very much. Like I watched Katy's set the other day, and it's so inspirational to be able to see a big production like that. To get to see it up close, but also get to see what it takes to put on a show like that. How many trucks of props she's actually bringing with her. All the people, like the coordination. You learn a lot from seeing that, and it's very inspirational to see what you actually can do when you have those resources. It's really cool.
And obviously you have a new record out.
Yeah.
And before we get into the record, I'd like to jump back to the beginning a little bit.
Yes.
So you were raised in Umeå?
Yes.
In Sweden?
Yeah.
As a young girl, what kind of music would you listen to?
Ooh, like, I think, like, my first really, like, thing with music was really, like, I think I kind of fell in love with the voices of, like, Whitney Houston and Mariah Carey. I mean, I loved Beyonce for ages, but like these big voices. And I just always been singing, like since the beginning, since I was like really small. I've always been singing, and I wanted to be able to sing like them, like my heroes, and it's like sing these big songs. So I used to like, throughout my whole childhood and my teenage years, I just spent hours and hours and hours every day singing, trying to like sing those songs, and I still like can't do it, but I spent so much time just practicing that eventually I got quite good at it. But even if I still can't like hit a note up there like Mariah, you know.
But was there a moment, because that's an interesting point. I think as a kid, everybody, well, a lot of people like to sing, but then there comes a point where you kind of either realize you can't sing or you know that, well, actually you can. So was there a moment for you where you knew kind of, oh, it actually sounds quite good?
I don't know, I just really love doing it, always. So I kept doing it, and I'm very thankful for my parents, because we used to have a keyboard or electric piano kind of thing in the living room where I used to sit and sing. And as I said, I spent hours every day. So I like came home from school, I sat there and sang quite loudly, not that good all the time, until like dinner. And then after dinner, I went back and kept on. And they never once told me that I couldn't make noise or that I couldn't sing, or that I had to keep it down. And I'm so thankful for that. That they always let me just keep at it.
I believe your father was a musician as well, and your mother was in the creative arts as well. So was that always an environment of creativity around the house?
I mean, when I grew up, my dad, he owned, or he worked in a music store, like where they sell instruments. So that was really great. Like I used to hang out there, and like whenever I like wanted to try and learn something, like some instrument, he'd bring it home. I never learned anything because I'm very lazy. Like I can barely play piano, but that's just to be able to sing, you know, to do that.
Right.
But it was I grew up in a very like loving family, and a very supportive family, and it's just a great environment for me to grow up.
And then, well, I want to kind of brush over the idols thing, because I'm sure you've talked enough about it. But you start singing, and it takes off. And before we get into Sway, because as people we change as we grow older. So how do you look back at those first 2 records that you made?
I mean, like, for me, old songs, they're a little bit like tattoos that you got when you were younger. Like me, for instance, I got this one. It's very poorly made, and I wouldn't have done it today. But I still don't want to have it removed, because I like love myself for who I was back then, and I respect the person, and I kind of get what kind of person, like what I was coming at, what back then when I did it. And it's a little bit same about songs. Like maybe I wouldn't write the same thing today, but I still like respect the person and love the person who wrote them. I mean, come on, like when I made my first album, I was 17. Like I could barely English. Like I think I did a really good job putting that together.
Right.
You know.
And so now I believe you're 25, right?
Yes.
So now you're 25, and if we take Sway, then what time period does this come from? Is it from last year, a year ago, the kind of the moment that you tried to capture?
Like for me, Sway isn't really depicting a specific moment in my life. I've been working on it for almost 2 years, like 1.5, 2 years. Spent a lot of time on it, a lot of just like, really feel like I poured my whole soul, my whole heart into this album, these songs. And what I wanted to do, I wanted to write about like people and how they connect. So the whole album is really like a patchwork of a lot of different things I've gone through the years, like people I have encountered, situations I've been in, things I've felt. It's really like just a lot of all of me like boiled down to this album.
And am I right in saying you are quite reflective? You look back at things and you kind of try to analyze it a little bit?
I like to analyze things. Like what I want to do when I write is I want to make sense of things and people and on myself. I want to look at it like I take a situation, something happens, something that I don't quite understand, and I need to like sort it out, try and figure it out. And writing is a really good way to do that, I think.
If we look at some of the songs, then is there one example you can give me of something that maybe it's just an idea that you were struggling with, but then you wrote a song about it and you kind of got a better understanding?
Like one song that I went through a lot with, because I really like, with all these songs, I'm like, when I make them, I live them.
Sure.
Like I really dive into them, and sometimes it gets quite scary. It's almost like method acting. You know, you go back to that, like that version of yourself that you're writing about, or that like that shade of yourself. You sort of have to bring it forward to write about it in a real way, and it's kind of scary. But one that was like special to me was Mistakes, because that one is a lot, to me that one was a lot about like kind of like sort of accepting that you're not going to be perfect all the time. And I think a lot of people recognize that feeling, like you always try and be your best, and you don't want to fail, and you don't want to feel like you're the bad person, or you don't want to feel like you like have to bail on something. But that one was a lot about just like letting everything go and relax in not being flawless. Just like accept your everything, like the good and the bad with yourself.
When did you have this realization?
About that you have to...
Kind of that not everybody's perfect, and that, you know, was that kind of a turning point for you, where you thought, okay, because I can imagine, especially as somebody who is in the public eye in a way, that there's people have certain expectations from you. Did it help you? Did writing that song, did it give you a better understanding of kind of life, maybe, or your experience?
I think it, like, that song, but also all of these songs, like this whole album, it's been really amazing, because I feel like I've come out on the other side of making it, knowing myself better, and loving myself more, and being more accepting of myself. And I think it's been about just that, like digging everywhere and bringing everything to sort of the surface. And it's so nice for me to have a song that symbolizes that process. It becomes like my own, like, little sort of, you know, anthem for that.